Last season, Andran reached the sectional final of the IHSAA tournament before falling to West Lafayette. This season, Williams hopes that his passionate play and strong leadership will help inspire the 59ers to reach new highs. With today's victory, the Blue Demons picked up their 4th win in conference play this year and their 1st at home. They'll play next Saturday to close out the inaugural season at Wintrust Arena against Xavier. For Good Day DePaul, I'm Andrew Garcia. Despite a 4-5 finish last season, Coach Robinson still has high expectations for this year's Gladiator team. He will look to senior defensive lineman Andrew Brown to elevate both himself and the team this season. Last year, the DePaul Blue Demons went 1-5 against Seton Hall and Villanova, and this year a perfect 6-0. Head coach Eugene Lenti said that depth was the key to the series sweep this weekend.
Andrew Garcia is here now with Good Day DePaul Sports. So Andrew, another big milestone for the DePaul softball team?
They keep achieving and achieving. The DePaul softball team won its 2nd Big East title in 3 seasons when they swept the Providence Friars in their 3-game series in Rhode Island. One key component of the team's success this season has been center fielder Angela Scalziti, who came back from an injury to lead the team in a big way. Every one of these DePaul athletes should be really proud of all the hard work they've put in all season long.
They're doing a lot of great things, Andrew. They really should be proud.
Andrew Garcia is here now with Good Day DePaul Sports. So Andrew, a tough time for the DePaul men's basketball program?
Indeed it has. It's been a tough couple of weeks for the DePaul men's basketball team. Sophomore Brandon Cyrus recently announced he's transferring from the university. Cyrus says he and his family want to consider other opportunities, no word yet on where he will transfer. And the Blue Demons could see other changes to the lineup next year as well. Junior Max Strus says he'll declare for the NBA draft, but will not hire an agent. That way Strus can retain his college eligibility should he decide not to pursue an NBA career at this time. And while DePaul men's basketball has not made the NCAA tournament recently, their neighbors to the north have. The Loyola Ramblers reached their first Final Four this year since 1963. Good Day DePaul's Evan Rogerson has more.
Loyola Ramblers fans packed into Gentile Arena on the Loyola campus 1 hour before the Ramblers took on Michigan in the Final Four.
Andrew Garcia is here now with Good Day DePaul Sports. So Andrew, a tough end to the DePaul softball season.
It was a really tough pill to swallow indeed. The DePaul softball team saw their season come to a disappointing ending, losing their 2nd game of the NCAA regional tournament to Oklahoma State 6-0. The Blue Demons also ran into a more experienced team in their first game, losing 2-0 to the Arkansas Razorbacks. But it was still a great year for DePaul. The team finished with a regular season Big East title, the conference tournament championship, and an overall record of 35-16. Finally, this DePaul team doesn't compete within the NCAA, but they put in just as much hard work into each and every ride they take. DePaul has a wide variety of club sports. Among them is club cycling. I'll tell you, after doing this piece, I really want to go out and ride some bikes after we finish shooting today.
You know, it's a beautiful day to go out and ride some bikes.
Come on, let's talk, let's talk.
Football is by no means a quiet sport. Those that play it loudly and vocally. Andran's Cameron Williams is no different. The 59ers outside linebacker is one of the most heavily recruited players in the area, and his play hasn't gone unnoticed. But while Williams' play is anything except quiet, head coach Chris Skinner has described him as quiet during this entire recruiting process.
He doesn't really talk much about it. He doesn't really like to draw attention to himself because of these offers, and I think that's kind of cool that he's still able to focus on everything that we want to do and not really make any of it a part of him.
Last season as a junior, Williams had 15 sacks and 65 tackles, 20 of which were for loss of yards. After his sophomore season, Williams began to think bigger things were possible and knew that he had to make great strides in his game to get where he is today.
Once I recognized how good I could be and all the coaches that are actually recruiting me and seeing that I had the chance to, I had to take a big opportunity, I had to take a big leap in my game and show that I could actually perform at the next level.
As successful as Williams has been, he believes that this season is about more than his personal accomplishments. He wants to continue to make major impacts beyond the stats department. Last season, Andran reached the sectional final of the IHSAA tournament before falling to West Lafayette. This season, Williams hopes that his passionate play and strong leadership will help inspire the 59ers to reach new highs. Williams takes a great deal of pride in the emotion with which he plays. He sees himself as the team's leader and seeks to help others improve as well.
I try to be a leader by, just teaching kids just little things I've gotten from coaches around the country and, just telling them the way, how I got where I am and, just overall keeping the intensity up in practice and, just getting on people when I need to get on them and overall just trying to just be myself around people. You know, there's different ways to teach everybody, so, you know, I've just tried to be a leader in that aspect.
Being given a great deal of attention from college coaches can be a lot to handle. Williams has continued to block out that attention so that he can focus on leading the Andran defense, which opens its season this Friday at Maryville High School. For WJOB, I'm Andrew Garcia. DePaul has a wide variety of club sports. Among them is club cycling. While there are many different places and paths they can ride, these DePaul cyclists frequently ride here at Lakefront Trail, directly east down Fullerton Avenue from DePaul's Lincoln Park campus. Recruiting new members to a club sport can be difficult, but cycling president Victoria Pirelli enjoys bringing in new riders, particularly at DePaul's Fall Involvement Fair.
There's the Fall Involvement Fair every year, and so we sign up for a table there in the club sports section, and you basically just try to grab the freshmen as they're walking past the tables and try to make it look very interesting.
Freshman Patrick Pedersen has always enjoyed biking, but wanted to try it competitively.
I wanted to get into some kind of sport. I thought about rowing in that, and then I saw the cycling club and thought I always liked to bike when I was younger and that, and I never did it competitively or anything, but I just thought it would be something fun to do, and riding around on the Lakeshore Drive Trail and that, beautiful.
Club cycling competes in a number of ways, but it's mostly organized by season.
Right now we're all just in road racing. There's 3 other types that you could be doing if you wanted to. There's mountain bike racing, which is usually in the summer. There's track racing, and then you also have cross racing that you can do, which is outside, usually fall to winter. As a team, we just focus on the road right now because we haven't had a lot of interest in any of the other disciplines.
While club cycling is not an NCAA sport at DePaul, these athletes still welcome the opportunity to compete against larger schools, but they haven't forgotten what's most important: having fun. Reporting for Good Day DePaul, I'm Andrew Garcia. DePaul center fielder Angela Scalziti is having an outstanding season by many different statistical measures. She started all 44 games and is batting .344. Equally impressive, she leads the team in stolen bases with 9. But all this success is coming after a devastating injury that cost Scalziti her entire 2017 campaign with a torn right ACL. And last season's injury was not her first, however. Roughly 2 years ago, she tore her other ACL. She says there were challenges to the recovery from both injuries, but this time around, things were a little easier since she knew what she was in for.
I think my right knee ended up being a little a better recovery because I knew how it went 2 years ago prior with my left knee. It was extremely mentally challenging. Coming off of any injury, it's hard to gain that confidence back because you always have that doubt in your mind. Am I going to get back? Am I going to come back stronger, faster, or am I going to not get back to the level of play that I was at before?
Despite these injuries, Scalziti did not shy away from setting goals for herself and her team this season.
I just wanted to lead the team as best as I could, either like stat-wise or even energy-wise on the field. The last 2 weeks I've kind of been in a little hitting slump, so a couple of my stats have dipped down, but I'm not worried at all because I have a lot of time to get back, and our team has a lot of time to bounce back before we reach the Big East tournament, which is our ultimate goal, is to win that.
No recovery process is easy, but with the right support, it can be easier. Scalziti says the support of her teammates last year helped her through some difficult times.
They were extremely supportive. There was a lot of times in the season, we had a lot of success last year where I wasn't on the field, and it made me upset. It was, you're in the awkward position where you're very happy for the team because you're part of the team still, but you have a little selfishness and you're not so happy because you're not out there. And they would see that, and they always pick me up, and they would be like, "Hey, you're out here next year. Next season's the most important season." And they always picked me up when I was down. They were awesome.
Winning the Big East tournament for a second consecutive season is important, but with the success that both Scalziti and the team have had, they want to do more than just reach the NCAA tournament. They want to make a deep run in that tournament.
Making it to regionals and winning a game at regionals. Last year we made it to regionals, but we lost 2 immediately. It's a double elimination tournament. I think winning that game in regionals, and then that would be, we made it, but it didn't really go our way. But ultimate goal is to make it to Super Regionals and go to the World Series.
Whether DePaul makes the College World Series or not, one thing is for sure: Scalziti's return to the Blue Demon lineup has been a real hit for the team. For Good Day DePaul, I'm Andrew Garcia. On Saturday, DePaul hosted rival Marquette at Wintrust Arena. The Blue Demons had lost 3 games in a row and had yet to win a Big East game at home. That changed as they defeated the Golden Eagles 70-62, despite shooting only 17% from 3. Max Strus led DePaul with 20 points and Eli Kane added 14. Mar and Marsh had some early shooting woes, but managed to post a double-double of 13 points and 13 rebounds. After the game, Eli Kane was quick to compliment Marsh's leadership during the contest.
I think the biggest impact that Mar had was just being a leader, just sticking with it. He missed a lot of chippers, especially in the beginning of the game. He missed 2 free throws. He shoots like 85, 88% from the free throw line. So that was out of character for him, but he just kept sticking with it, kept telling us to stick with it.
Equally poor shooting cost Marquette, as they shot only 8 of 27 from beyond the arc. While he led the scoring for Marquette with 16 points, Andrew Rousey shot only 27% from 3, well below his season average of 39%. DePaul head coach Dave Lato said his team's defense came up big in limiting Rousey's offensive opportunities.
Good passing lane defense, but I think the thing about, and I've known Andrew, I coached him in AAU way back when he was 14, 15 years old, so I've known the danger that he possesses as an offensive basketball player, and if you give him this much space, he'll make shots from anywhere.
With today's victory, the Blue Demons picked up their 4th win in conference play this year, and their 1st at home. They'll play next Saturday to close out the inaugural season at Wintrust Arena against Xavier. For Good Day DePaul, I'm Andrew Garcia. The DePaul softball team lost the first game of their series with St. John's 4-2 in extra innings. DePaul senior pitcher Kennedy Garcia went all 11 innings, but took the loss, yielding 4 runs on 10 hits. This was DePaul's 4th extra inning game, and they've lost all of them. It was an offensive struggle for an otherwise explosive DePaul offense. St. John's Mackenzie Murray only gave up 2 runs on 6 DePaul hits through 11 innings. The Red Storm's Lauren Zick led off the game with a triple before later scoring on a groundout by Cristina Melendez. In the 3rd inning, Crystal Puga took Garcia deep to extend the St. John lead to 2-0. Megan Leyva and Morgan Greenwood led off the DePaul 4th with back-to-back singles, and both runners advanced on a Miranda Gutierrez bunt before scoring on Alicia Rodriguez's double. Then, both teams were held scoreless until the 11th inning when St. John's Caitlin Matera hit a 2-run homer to give the Red Storm the lead. That proved to be the winner as they took the game 4-2. Afterwards, DePaul coach Eugene Lenti seemed less than pleased with his team's approach at the plate, citing pitch selection as the reason for their lack of offensive success.
It's not really about the pitching, it's more about our approach. You get yourself in trouble when you're looking at the strikes and you're going after the bad pitches. So that's really what it comes down to. It's really not about the pitching, because the pitching is very similar to what we've been seeing most of the year. And we've seen these pitchers before, and we've had good success against them. So it really comes down to pitch selection. Is more when we struggle, that's what it really is what's going on. We're not patient enough, or we're chasing bad pitches.
Despite the loss, catcher Jessica Cawthorn is still confident in her team's ability to stick together and make adjustments in tough games against teams like St. John's, a team they could see in the conference tournament.
It says that we're just a lot of talented athletes and that we're really coming along strong towards the back half of our season, so we're really proud of that. Really just goes to show that our team comes together when we need to, so in the conference tournament we're hoping that that will happen again if we see them.
The loss dropped DePaul's record to 25-14 and 7-3 in conference play.